Jai Baba. Today I'm going to begin by reading from this book, some passages from this book called The Joyous Path, which Heather Nadell composed, put together. And I'm just going to sheet up volume 1. There's two volumes. I'm going to read a couple interesting passages. This book really brings back for me Mani. I can hear her voice. She had such a unique and lovely voice. I can remember sometimes being like in Mondley Hall and hearing her outside. Such a distinctive, unique, beautiful voice. And I was thinking of some of the conversations I had with Mani. She was so inclusive. She would often begin talking to me by saying, "Well, you know, John," or "As you know, John," and even if it's something I really didn't know, I felt like I did. So that was a wonderful quality. I thought about that quite a bit. So this passage, Mani had a clear childhood memory of seeing Baba go into the water tank on Mehrabad Hill to sit in seclusion long before the Prem Ashram boys, the students in Baba's early spiritual school on the hill, or the women Mandali and Mani lived there. Mehrabad had formerly belonged to the British military, and a water tank on the hill had served Upper and Lower Mehrabad. Mani recalled going up the steps with some of his women to the little watch room that used to be on top of what is now the library, and watching Baba climb through the top vent and down the inside rungs to the bottom of the tank. There was no door and only vents for windows. At the bottom, Baba looked up at them and said, "All of you go now." And he stayed there alone in seclusion, fasting. Adi Sr. once told a story of Baba sitting in this water tank in seclusion. It must have been at the same time. Adi had brought Baba supplies, or perhaps he was on watch. He was sitting with Baba inside the tank in the semi-dark, and he suddenly noticed that Baba was weeping. He had never seen Baba weep. After some time, Baba gestured to him, "I am weeping for the sorrows of the world." Mani reflected in Mondley Hall. As Baba said, it's the connection that matters. It's not how good you are or bad you are that makes the difference with God. It is that He has taken you to Him. In some life, you have linked yourself with Him. You've had the good fortune to know of Him and be drawn to Him, and had some God luck, if you like to call it that, by the law of grace. That is what is important. Even now I tell the young ones, don't sit and brood that you're not worthy of loving Baba. Don't think, just grab. You've got it, grab it. Sometimes I've wondered, why me? But it is enough that He has brought us to His side. We can never be worthy of His love. But what does it matter? We have Him. Mani would say about the timing of awakening to Baba. Baba would always point out that you need the connection to Him, and it has to be the right time. One's time had to come. I used to picture myself in different little dramas with an alarm clock in each one. One would ring at 4 o'clock, One would ring at 3 o'clock. One would ring at 11 o'clock. At that time, the perfect time, Baba's time, the heart would awaken. You may not have been aware of him before that, but he has been aware of you. But as Baba says, everything depends upon the time. His coming in avataric form is a fulfillment itself, a fulfillment of his promises to his lovers, a fulfillment of his love for all of creation. And that's why he takes human form time and time again, to fulfill all the promises and longings. He is so particular about his promises. Anything we long for or wish for with Baba has to come to pass. No matter how little your wish for him may be, I tell you, he fulfills it. It can never fail. It is never in vain. In 700 years, there's so much to look forward to, because whatever you long for now is going to come true. So it all rests with us. He has given us no lack. Only lack is in our longing, in our asking. He has never told us not to ask him for things, but what we ask for is too little. He wants us to give us much more. So while he is with us, while we have him, why not ask for the highest? I'll never forget how once when we heard of Baba promising something to someone, we were a little facetious, chuckling to ourselves, saying, "Oh well, Baba promised, but whether it's going to happen or not." In the back of our minds, we felt that Baba is the maker and the breaker, and he has the right to make and break a promise. But at that moment, Baba turned around to us and said, "I am the only one who never breaks a promise. I am the only one who fulfills." And this last passage, which has to do with the Ellora Caves, and specifically the Buddha Cave, which is my favorite cave of the Ellora Caves. Then suddenly something came back to me, a memory from the past that came at great speed and stood before me, so to speak. And I said, wait a minute. I've heard Baba say only one thing about Lord Buddha, and I can tell you about it. Because I remembered it clearly. Years ago, during the Blue Bus Tour, we went to the Ellora Caves with Baba. We were in what is known as the Buddha Cave, cave number 10. We were a lot of women all walking around Baba. And because we were so many, when we were sightseeing, we didn't see much. You turn this way, you see others of your sisters. Turn that way, and there are more of them. So you just see people everywhere you turn. And that cave is a beautifully carved statue of the Buddha. Baba and we all walked around the statue, and then Baba stopped. So we all stopped and stood facing the statue. Then Baba flipped out the alphabet board that he always carried under his arm and spelled out something on the board. And I read out from the board for him. All Baba said when he stopped in the middle of the cave was, "I am Buddha." And when I read that aloud, "I am Buddha," suddenly I felt there was no one in the cave. It was empty. There was just that voice welling up, echoing, and reverberating in waves throughout the cave. "I am Buddha. I am Buddha. I am Buddha. It was so beautiful, so timeless. For a split second, there was nothing but the words, I am Buddha. Then it was gone. And again there were people. And Baba was saying something. And we were moving, hurrying along. It took many years for me to recall that. The joyous path. I reach for Mayhair. The morning light has not yet dignified the dawn. I have not even wiped the sleep from my eyes. Last night's difficult and meaningless dreams evaporating, like fog dissipating before a radiant sun. Rolling on like the river to the sea. The nothing of this world is swept away. Like a balloon ascending into an oceanic sky. Untethered, I reach for Mayhair. You give when I don't ask. You provide my unspoken need. You make the unimaginable imaginable. You make the unfathomable fathomable. You make all things happen. You are creator. You are power, knowledge, and bliss. My words are unproductive, useless. You are the beloved Lord of love. I am your unkempt slave. You groom me with your grace. You remove the shackles of this world. You free me from the binds of time. How can one speak with no voice? You made me a songbird singing your name. You take me under your wing, flying to the nest of your infinite sky. I hold on. I stroll these streets, boulevards, and alleys. I see the grifters, drifters, and dreamers. I watch the sleight of hand of tricksters and fraudsters. I walk on by the phenomena of this mirage. The world is a circus full of sideshows. Do not believe anything you see. Believe less what you hear. The world is a ball made of the yarn of nothing. Yesterday my mind was troubled, the weight of the world raining down. I could not find your umbrella. You sent a choir of birds singing in my yard. You let me know all will be well. You show me again and again. If I had rock-like faith in you, I would not need your loving reminders. Today I witnessed the bravery of a child. I saw love in the eyes of his father. I heard a troubled voice become soft and silken. I glimpsed myself in each and every one. O beloved, what a companion and master you are. You take the dregs of me. You turn me upside down and inside out. I hold on to you as the world spins by. Returning home. I started out before the sun had kept its promise to the day. my white steed's nostrils flaring, a breeze in the chill morning air, my Lord's banner held aloft, my sword in my scabbard, my shield at my side. I left the castle alone, my fellow knights still dreaming, their song, cheer, and goodwill still ringing in my ears. We had passed the long night together, singing the praise of our Master and Lord. I wore the locket he had gifted me, the curl of his hair encased next to my heart. I remembered his words each time I touched this treasure. Slay the three-headed dragon and come back to me. I was not a fool. I knew this was no easy task. I had heard the stories. Glory thwarted, glory denied, glory rarely achieved. I sought not fame nor honor, only to serve and obey my dear Lord, to surrender to his wish and will. I had my Master's love, this much I knew. Grace can be showered in uncountable ways. I remained steadfast in my journey. I sang a courting song, the one about the lover and his beloved. You all know the one. It comes to you in the darkness of night. It catches and clutches your heart. I will not reveal everything. We all must make this journey. You can imagine, if you wish, what transpired and what did not. Was it a dream, you ask? Was any of this true? All I can say, all I can tell you, when I returned to the castle that misty moonlit night, beneath the beams and rafters, within the vastness of that great hall, my Lord greeted me with open arms and said these words to me: your journey is at its end. You have returned back home to me. Between two worlds. No paste or poultice can remove, no invocation or sign of the cross. Skilled surgeons could never begin to excise the gift you have given. Things of the world come with a price. Your gifts are priceless, matchless, and fatal. This wound will not heal. It binds me to you, dear Lord. What I asked for during that honeyed moon, I will never beg you to take it back. The time when my love was young, when I didn't know what I know now. Every night I sang myself to sleep. You embraced me under an arbor of stars. You cracked open my eggshell heart, revealing something I could not know, and then some. Now I am caught between two worlds. I have left one so far behind, the other a promise not yet fulfilled. I pass my days remembering that honeyed moon. This morning you left a note by my bedside. You asked me to forget the past, leave it all behind. Your inimitable fragrance permeating everything, beckoning, darling, come to me. This next one is based on the old song, You Are My Sunshine. Something about the stillness of the sun-kissed afternoon beckoned me out of doors to walk around the yard. My hip aching, I leaned against a great live oak tree. I felt the hum of the heart of that gnarled old oak. I was pondering how you were in all things. My mind slowed as I remembered you. What we give up to become who we are. This is the cost of a life worthwhile. How this life is worth every heartbreak, the springboard to life eternal in you. I was slipping out of myself, losing my boundaries. Suddenly, I was in a world not quite my own. I heard an angelic voice singing. Through the lush foliage, a figure came into view. A young woman pushing a stroller so tenderly. The mother was attentive, eyes on her infant child. I heard as she passed by my hidden self. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. Your breeze, beloved, carried those words to my ear. Tears fell freely without my knowing. You, beloved, are matchless. You are the king of every heart. These words echo throughout the ages. Long live the king. Dreaming of gardens. 12 Octobers ago, we planted 100 bulbs. The following February, one daffodil rose up to greet us. We wondered about the 99. Were they DOA, dormant, duds? Each spring we look for that lone jonquil, a symbol of our new life. After the slow death of winter, this flowering is always welcomed. This year, our daffodil became two, the pair reaching beyond themselves in the sandy soil. I have heard this blooming is the sign of unrequited love and hope. My love is not unrequited. Concerning hope, I dare not speak. I have spent my life dreaming of gardens. You, beloved, have tilled and enriched my soil. This late afternoon, during the early golden hour, I watched those two sway in the breeze, keeping time together, moving as one. My heart soared for no reason at all. I would give anything to move as one with you, losing myself into the great unknown, following your sun by day, dancing to your stars and moon by night. Make ready. You never know who might knock on your door. You never know who you are talking to. Sages throughout the ages reveal a divine truth. Be ready. Be prepared. The time is always nigh. All life is a rehearsal for the final act. The actors assume their roles. The props are all in place. The lines memorized are the lines spontaneous. The script is already written. Why worry or grieve about what might have been? Everything you have is what you've earned. Be thankful for what the Lord has given. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow is just a word. Today is the only day on the calendar. If we really knew what our beloved has in store, we would cease to exist. We would be no more. The beloved arrives softly, silently. Make ready for the Lord. This dense fog disappears. Tears fall from a cloudless sky. There is no God except God. Whether eating, drinking, sleeping, enjoying the amusements of this world, the beloved is always with you. Suddenly this love is an overarching wave, unmooring my underpinnings, undoing me. All that was known, washed and carried away. I am left stunned and undone. I cannot resist the tidal pull. This current is too strong. If I am to save myself, I must give in. This overwhelming is certainly my death. I do give in and give up. What death is this anyway? I would die 1,000,000 times to experience the glimpse you have given. The moment that wave overcomes me, I see your arms reaching out to me. Love, lover, beloved becoming one. The moment I become his. I would give everything and more for union with you. I will give everything by your grace. This love will be my death. If this life has taught me anything, it is to let go of all that keeps me here, accepting your will and wish. This love is an overarching wave. No words. Someone asked what love looked like. I could not answer. I had nothing to say. When I recovered from my loss, these words came to me. I cannot see my love. He remains hidden within me. But ask me any other question, and he is always the answer. I found my love across the ocean of difficulties, beyond the valley of sighs and sorrows, atop the mountain of hopelessness and helplessness. Travel lightly. Leave this troubled world behind. Desires are useless on this journey. Let hardships find you and scorn pester you. Humiliation, a befitting traveling companion. Once I gazed into his eyes, I never recovered my composure. I am dazed, beloved, but ever alert. Some fine day, maybe today, you will keep your promise. If someone asked what love looks like, I have no words. Look at the image of my beloved. Nothing more needs to be said. Symphony. Make of this suffering a symphony. Listen to the strings in woodwinds. You might smile if you remember him. This morning I woke up laughing. The trick is to not take this sorrow seriously. Treat it like you would the guy across the room, the one talking too loudly with nothing to say. The mourning dove is a messenger of God. What is there to be disappointed about? If I am always wrong, I cannot justify myself. Sit up and stand down, and soon enough, nothing can take you sideways. Longing is not just about time apart from him. It is not duration or emotion or some feeling. I remember it best the night I dreamt of him. The next morning, my pillow soaked with tears. I have seen smiles on their faces, the ones who have forgotten most everything, the ones whose only memory is evergreen, the ones who are no longer their own. Just now I hear a songbird I've never heard before, singing a song I've never heard. Her every note joyous, bright, cheerful. Your symphony, your remedy for all my ills. The moon of your love. The moon of your love, the moon of my love is always full, always waxing, never waning. I call out to you across galaxies, constellations, universes. I call your name unceasingly. You hear me every moment. The cardinal taking wing, the butterfly outside my window. You let me know you are always listening. I keep my mind in a cage. I pay it no attention. What has it done for me anyway, except cause division and separation? This life of helplessness and hopelessness goes on. Everything is by your grace. The days pass, and I love you more and more. I am dancing at the doorway of infinity. Oh, beloved, only you know my secret. Only you know the contents of my heart. You hold the key that unlocks its treasure. Only you know what I know not. Last night, the full moon rose over the ocean. Your love knows no bounds. I watched the moon rays caress the ocean. The moon of your love is always full. Indelible. This world is an impermanent construct. You, beloved, are indelible. You are never forgotten. This memory is always with us. What sparked this fire? What set about this burning? The tinder dry and combustible, now red hot and fiery ash. The days slip and slide away. So many windows opening and closing. I keep my eyes on you. I am becoming devoid of reason. Last night I woke suddenly. My hand was on my heart. I felt the ache of missing you. Whose hand is it, anyway? Today is the first day of spring, a marker delineating the seasons. The azaleas are blooming profusely. Your fragrance surpasses everything. Unforgettable you are. I will forget everything of this world. You, beloved, are indelible. Your hand on each and every heart. And now the last one. Wrote this one yesterday. The storehouse of his name. The storehouse of his name is overflowing. We are living in our hearts now. The lover knows the joy his name gives. This treasure opens the cataracts of the inner world. Keep his name always on your lips. It is the one gift you can always rely on. The veils of this dark world will fall away. His name alone destroys the sorrows of the world. God himself repeats his own name. We are the willing caretakers. We nourish and sustain what our Lord has given. Make your tongue an instrument of his glory. No travail or worry can touch the one who is busy remembering him. Make his name your ally and protector. No harm can ever come your way. Take his name with every breath. Shariarji's tongue always said Yezdan. He became the father of creation. God holds such a rare lover in the palm of his hand. What more can one say about his name? The whole world exists on Baba's name. Repeating his name constantly, this ephemeral world dissolves into nothing. Jai Baba.